Hi, this is Vic Mignogna, voice of Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist. Captain Kirk in Star Trek continues. And do you know what the best podcast is? I'm going to tell you. Five-ish Fangirls, yeah!
The tangents at Squee continue all the way to episode 165 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. And they may be super. And they may do heroic things, but do not call them superheroes. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we do every week. We're on the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Bethlehem.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Chrissy is currently stuck in traffic trying to get home.
Traffic.
As you've noticed, the show is a little delayed, but it was coming off of a holiday weekend for some of us, most of us. So it's a bit of a recovery time. Trying to get back in the swing of things after the long weekend and all that fun stuff. So, but we're charging.
I wanted to say it was somehow planned, but I don't think it would work that well.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, all things considering, the fact that we had to delay the show by 2 days. Normally, it would be, it'd be kind of annoying, just because it's something that we look forward to, and we kind of have a routine going. But it actually worked out very serendipitously this week. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that here in the news as we get further into the news. So. First, let's start with some convention announcements. Indiana Comic-Con is continuing with their guest announcements, this time with Walter Jones, aka Zach, the OG Black Ranger from the Power Rangers. So they had Austin St. John this year. So next year we will get Walter Jones. So, like I said, there's going to be Power Rangers everywhere next year. It's the 25th anniversary. It's just going to be Power Rangers everywhere, and I'm not complaining whatsoever. Thank you very much. I'm still waiting for PopCon to make that official announcement. They have not done it yet. So I can't say anything. There is a...
You just teasing.
I know.
Not just the listeners, but us.
I know.
Because we have no idea. We were like,
Carl, he keeps telling me, oh yeah, we're getting this person. There's no official announcement yet, so I can't say anything. So Carl quit telling me stuff. And then not making official announcements because then I'm sitting on it. Anyway. So yeah. Walter Jones in Indiana Comic-Con, and then Planet Comic-Con, which their convention's coming up very quickly. We'll keep announcing guests right up until the last minute, I'm sure. So 2 guests, Jerome Flynn, aka Braun from Game of Thrones. Still waiting for that castle from Jamie. And then Jason Momoa. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So now the Justice League is out. Before it was like, oh, he's Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones, and he's going to be Aquaman. But now the movie's out, so now he could be like, I am Aquaman. So, so that's a big deal. So,
yeah.
So, yay, conventions. 2018 is looking to be an exciting year for conventions. So.
Which I can't believe that's barely a month away. Not that
far away, yeah, I know. It's like a month away. Tomorrow's the last day of November.
It was just the beginning of 2017.
Know. I swear, I was just at PopCon. Anyway, so that's our convention announcements. Let's move on to other news. Mark your calendars for 2018. Although I obviously we have some time and announcements will more details will be released as we get to the day of. But 2018, we're getting another royal wedding. Prince Harry is getting married to Meghan Markle. This has been a long time coming. So right now, supposedly they're supposed to be getting married. They've been saying the official announcement, spring of 2018. They were saying on Good Morning America this morning, they were saying May 2018. Yep. So
that's what a lot of sites have been seeing as the recording a May date.
Yeah. So after, in theory, after Kate Middleton has baby number 3. So
I was kind of hoping early June because that's still technically spring.
Yeah. Yeah, but another royal wedding. I don't think this is going to be nearly as high key as Kate and William, just because, William is future king, Kate is future queen. So they kind of get the circumstance. This will still be a big deal.
Oh yeah,
but
I think the last I heard, it's going to be at Windsor Chapel.
Yeah, it's not good. It's going to be at the same church that Charles married Camilla, and I think they said that's also where Harry got baptized or something.
That's possible.
That. So, but yeah, it's exciting. Well, I would love babies.
And they're still talking
weddings.
that the guest list is going to be pretty.
Oh yeah,
big names.
Yeah,
Elton John, the Beckhams.
Oh yeah,
possibly Serena Williams.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the both William and Harry are friends with Elton John through their mother, because Princess Diana was close friends with Elton John. So yeah, and then the Beckhams and it'll be the who's who of of the British aristocracy and celebrity.
And Big Brother's already, now he won't be coming over and scrounging from my kitchen.
Yeah.
Because rumor has it that's what he's done, and Kate's willingly offered to make him chicken. Yeah. Here you go.
Yep. I like hearing stories about that, like how the royal family, they're the royal family, but they're still normal at times.
Yeah.
If that's
even Harry and Meghan's engagement story, apparently he proposed while she was in the middle of trying to roast a chicken. So
yes. And she didn't want to have him finish the proposal. She said, "Can I just say yes?"
Yeah.
Can I just say yes?
Yeah. So. But I'm excited. I'm thrilled for Harry and Meghan, and I think she'll be a good addition to the group.
Yes.
But good for them, and if it's something that's going to be televised in any form or fashion, I will be up. I was one of those people. I got up at the butt crack of dawn to watch the live feed of William and Kate's wedding. I will do it again if that is an option.
And I remember I was on Baby Watch when.
Oh yeah, and every Royal Baby Watch since. As soon as they start that live feed from the Lindo wing, I've got it on all day. It would be the same way for this baby. We're getting a new royal baby and a wedding, all in within a couple of months of each other. That's so exciting. I think I might burst. So yay! Raise your tea to Harry and Meghan. So yay! Oh. And in Shut Up and Take My Money news, the Doctor Who Mr. Men books, our Dr. Men books, we're getting vinyl figures of the Dr. Men. So they're going to be available on Amazon, Smith's Toys Superstores, and Forbidden Planet from the 6th of December, and it will include the 1st, 4th, 11th, and 12th Doctors.
In the back of my mind, when I saw the books, I'm just like, they're probably going to do that.
Yep. They are. I kind of need the 12th Doctor. I kind of need a final figure of Capaldi in Mr. Men form. So, you know, if the books weren't enough, you could act out the books with your little vinyl figure. So, they said they're 11 centimeters tall, which I don't know metric, so I don't know how big that is, like, in relation to, like, a Funko or...
Ooh.
Quick, someone did that for
according
me.
to online, it's about 4.3 inches, which
Okay.
that doesn't really help me, but
Yeah, this doesn't help me either. I'm a bad judge of, like, size and distance and weight.
me
You know those people that can figure out, like, how much carpet you need just by looking at a room? I know. No. Nope.
even when I measure, I'm off sometimes. It's like, I don't understand.
Okay.
Measure
Funko Pops are 3 3/4 inches tall, so they are going to be a little bit taller than the Funkos.
Okay, but that gives you a good idea, though. Slightly taller than a Funko. So, not that I need anything else, because my shelf at my desk at work, where I keep my Funkos and my Lego figures and my My Little Ponies from the McDonald's Happy Meal. I'm out of space. I'm running out of space. So.
I think I'm going to have to ask my grandfather to build me another bookshelf.
Yeah.
Or, in this case, I'm just going to call it the figure shelf.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, my China hutch is slowly starting to become a China.
Yeah.
Which the Ludo Funko is sitting on top, proud owner of said hutch. And he's the tallest of my Funkos, because I don't know if you've seen the Funko TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit taller than the Funko TARDIS. Just to put it in perspective, Ludo is big.
Yep, considering the TARDIS is a decent size, yeah.
Yeah.
Not saying a lot. Thank you very much, Mr. Men. Shut up and take my money. All right, let's move on to some movie news. First, I guess I could have put these in the other order, but it's all Disney owned anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Basically.
So, supposedly, Jude Law is in a negotiation stage of being the male lead in the Captain Marvel film. So,
that'd be interesting.
Assuming everything pans out, all the I's get dotted, I guess, and the T's get crossed. He will be playing Dr. Walter Lawson, aka Marvel. And I guess he's like Danvers, or Captain Marvel's mentor when she gets her powers. So, so it's not. There's no official announcement yet from Marvel, but that came from Variety, so that's I would think a fairly legitimate news source. So, but so Jude Law, Harry Potter universe, Marvel universe. He's just making way around things at the moment. So, and
it's funny, like, he's gonna be in a Marvel since he was in Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. Yep. That could be interesting. That does pan out, and then we get Captain Marvel in Avengers 4, and then if this character sticks around, so be a nice little reunion of sorts there, maybe. Who knows? Well, And then just announced today, actually, Disney has announced that they have cast their lead for the live-action Mulan film. And I do not want to butcher her name, but I'm probably going to. I'm sorry. Apparently she's got her Chinese name, but it also in parentheses, aka Crystal Lu. So we're gonna call her Crystal. so that I don't completely butcher her name. But she has been cast as Mulan. So apparently she is in China. She is nicknamed Fairy Sister. And apparently she's quite the popular actress in China. And she has been in several films so far. The Forbidden Kingdom with Jackie Chan and Jet Li. White Vengeance, Outcast with Nicolas Cage. Ip Man 3. And The Chinese Widow. So there you go. She will be our live action Mulan.
And seeing the pictures, I can picture that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. So, yay! And that's it for news. No, I'm just kidding. No, kidding. No, the internet is unless you've just been, I guess, completely off the internet since what's this Wednesday? Since Monday. Or Tuesday morning. The internet's been kind of broken since yesterday.
Yeah.
Just a little. So I guess I can shut up now about where the hell is the Infinity War trailer, because we got it!
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did.
They're like, okay, Rachel, you can shut up now. Here's your trailer. So, yeah. Okay. So
Holy
yesterday.
cow.
Yeah. Well, let's go with the teaser yesterday, because usually when we get a teaser, it's it's not the day before. Usually when we get the teaser, even with like the little Ant-Man teaser where it was like literally the little teaser, that was like a week or two, I think, before we got the actual trailer, or at least a couple of days. But no, this was like yesterday. Marvel dropped this like minute and a half teaser for Infinity War, and for teasers, as far as teasers go, because usually when we get a teaser, it's usually like, it usually includes footage from the movie that it's teasing. This, not so much. This was really a love letter almost to the franchise and the fans for this teaser, because it is clips from the movies leading up to Infinity War, starting with Iron Man through Black Panther. We get these nice snippets from the various trailers, interspersed with these clips of folks from, their YouTube channels and Instagram and that sort of thing, reacting to the various trailers. Because that's the thing. People watch a trailer for the first time, they record themselves reacting to it. And in this case, it's all people reacting very positively to whatever trailer it is that they happen to be watching. And then, we get these words that flash up on the screen. It's all been leading up to this, 10 years, of movies leading up to this, and then you get this clip of these guys going, "We want the Infinity War trailer now." I'm like, preach. And then it just comes up the screen and says tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. And this was like yesterday afternoon. So I'm like, at that point,
I'm surprised there wasn't a meme made with, we see all those kids sitting at, on desks. How many are ready and waiting for the trailer for Infinity Wars?
Yeah.
And you see all the hands raised. I'm surprised that didn't make the rounds, or somebody modified it.
Yeah. But so yeah, it's like yesterday afternoon or late morning, early afternoon, whatever time it was, and it's like tomorrow, and I'm like, you know, I'm at work like what? Then proceed to watch this cheeser, you know, on repeat over and over and over and over, and I'm like crying like, oh, I'm so excited. Trying to get my work done. I'm like, no, Infinity War trailer. Like, I'm like posting on every social media channel I have. This is not a drill. We're getting the trailer tomorrow. I feel like that kid, you know, marching around the house with a wooden spoon and a metal pan going, alert, alert, alert. This is not a drill. Attention, everyone. You need to know this. So, and then a little while later, they're like, yeah, tune in Good Morning America. That's from the trailer, because it didn't say when tomorrow, meaning today. It just said tomorrow. So then a little later, Marvel was like, Good Morning America, tomorrow morning, trailer. There you go. So I got up this morning. I was already up, really, because I've been having trouble sleeping, but that's a story you guys don't need to know about. So I got up, turned on, you know, ABC this morning, and had to suffer through an hour and some change of the regular news and the weather and more regular news and then the weather again, because they do the weather like every 15 minutes. Like, yes, I know it's unusually warm in the country for this time of year. Meanwhile, it's snowing in Hawaii. Good for them. Can we get to the trailer here? Like, yeah, snow in Hawaii. Infinity War trailer. Come on.
Apparently, Rachel didn't get the message from Captain America.
No. I got the message. I just chose to ignore it. That is the difference. Like, patience.
Channeling your inner Tony Stark with that.
Yeah. Patience went out the window the minute they said tomorrow. So finally, a little after.
It's tomorrow somewhere else. Come on.
Exactly. Exactly. So a little after 8 o'clock this morning, they finally, they get Laura Spencer, and then they get Sebastian Stan. And then they're like, we're going to make people wait a little bit longer. Like, hey, Sebastian Stan, how you doing? Good morning, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. And then finally, they show the trailer. And I was like, oh. I was trying to be nice because it's like, you know, 8:15 in the morning. And people may still be sleeping. Getting ready for work. And the neighbors did just hear me say all sorts of, you know, loud thing. So I tried to be calm, although when I got in the car later, I'm like, you know, kind of lose my mind. But anyway, yeah, we've got the trailer, and oh my god,
Stuff just got real. I mean, we haven't seen Black Panther movie yet, but just from what we saw of this one, yeah, crap is going to be hitting the fan big time.
Yep.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't. Oh my god.
Especially that one scene with Thanos and a certain someone.
Oh my god.
It's just like, no, I liked him.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. There's just, I mean, oh my god, I don't even know where to start. Okay, here's the thing.
Steve looks pretty good with the beard.
Well, yes, yeah.
I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah. But you know what struck me after I watched the trailer for like the 50th time is, you know what it reminds me of? This trailer specifically is it reminds me of the Star Wars trailers for the new trilogy. It has a feel for The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I kind of half expect to start hearing the Star Wars theme playing in the trailer just because it has that feel. I mean, it is.
And then CBB roll in between everything.
Yeah, really. But I mean, it's just, I mean, and especially coming off of Thor Ragnarok, and this is shows that, you know, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I was right that Thor Ragnarok was so bright. I mean, obviously story wise, it was very serious, but with the trailers, it was these bright colors. We're using, you know, classic rock and roll music. And
well, the retro title design.
And I kept saying, you know, I know we're getting Black Panther before Infinity War, but really Ragnarok was our last, like, here's some happy fun times before crap starts hitting the fan. And crap is hitting the fan.
Yeah.
And by crap hitting the fan, I mean Thanos walking out of his ship, everyone!
Yeah, and that ship, I mean, big, huge circle thing.
Yeah.
Rotating, it was just like, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. You've got what seems to be Bruce Banner and Natasha, you know, giving each other the eye, like, "Hey, how you doing? You still got the hots for me?" type of thing. And
pretty much.
Yeah, did you miss me? Hey, Natasha, I like your hair. But yeah, I mean, you've got, you know, you've got Tony looking like he's still, you know, struggling with his decisions that he's made in, you know, in the past. You've got Vision and Wanda, you know, getting close, which is canon really for the comic books, but you know, there's a shot in the trailer of him getting attacked and them trying to essentially rip the Infinity Stone out of his forehead, which that's probably not going to go well, unfortunately.
Right.
You know, you've got this huge, almost like Lord of the Rings type battle that looks like it's probably going to take place in Wakanda against these like creatures, which are kind of like goon creature things. So we're going to get like a big like Pelennor Fields type battle, it looks like.
Yeah. And then we got Loki in the mix because I think we see him with the Tesseract again.
Oh yeah, which there's, if you haven't seen Ragnarok at this point and you see this trailer, you got some two big spoilers there. Loki's got the Tesseract again, and Thor's lost his eye. That's no longer a secret. So if you haven't seen Ragnarok at this point, I'm sorry.
I was nice and did say there's probably some spoilers when I posted it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah. And what's funny is they released the teaser yesterday. If you go and read the comments, which I don't recommend doing ever, but if you go and read the comments, you know, 99% of them are people being very excited, like, "Yay, finally! You know, my body's ready. Shut up, take my money," that sort of thing. But then you get the few people that are like, well, it won't be that big a surprise for those of us that have already seen it from, you know, San Diego Comic-Con or D23 or the, you know, the like 2 times it got leaked on the internet. But joke's on them. This trailer is different than all the trailers that have been shown before. There's still some stuff that's still the same. But if you watch Andre from Black Nerd Comedy, if you watch his reaction video that he put up earlier today, he saw it at D23 Expo. And so, and he remembers what he saw. And he's like, this is not the same trailer. It is not the same trailer. There's a few things that are the same, but there's several scenes in this trailer that were not in the trailer that's been seen previously. So it's all those people that are like, well, I've already seen it. No, you have not. This is a different trailer. There may be a few repeated things, but no, this is a different cut. And I'm sure they did that on purpose. Yeah. And I'm sure that was on purpose, just so that, you know, the people that got to go to D23 Expo and the people that got to go to San Diego Comic-Con, yes, they got to see footage before the rest of us, but not the same as the rest of us. So you get to be surprised irregardless of whether you got to go to any of those conventions earlier in the year. But yeah, and they're like, oh, so good. So good. So, and I'm almost glad that it's not the same. But I know there's the bit at the end with Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is so awesome. He's like, "Who the hell are you?" And Peter Quill's just smiling like, "Hey, it's Thor." And the Mantis is all like, "Hi." And the rest of them are like, "Who's this guy?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, yes, this is awesome."
And Rocket's just standing there. I'm just like, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, there's some other stuff with Thor and the Guardians that was shown at San Diego that's not in this, and they may be saving that. They may go in the second trailer when we get another one, in a couple of months or however long, before we get another one. So I'm glad that it's not the same, and if they do decide to use that footage, in the next trailer, that's fine. But I'm glad that this one, the first one we're getting to the full public, is different enough from the ones that were shown elsewhere. And Chrissy finally made it!
Hey, Chrissy.
Hello. Sorry, I was just about to turn on Skype, and the boy spit up everywhere.
Oh, no.
Just to change him. But anyway, how is everybody?
Good.
We've been talking for 10 minutes about the Infinity War trailer.
He thought it was hilarious. Oh, yeah. Yay, the Infinity War. Yeah. My favorite part, I mean, the rest of it I just kind of expected, because it's like, Marvel, yeah, all the little, everybody doing their thing. And then at the end, Thor says, "Who are you guys?" And it's the Guardians. And I'm just like, yay. That was my favorite. So that's my 2 cents about the trailer.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Although I do have
so
to say,
excited.
It was the teaser for the trailer. Whatever.
Yeah. But, oh my god. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Anyway, we're all here.
Yeah. I'm so excited. It's the only way I can put it is the teaser letting us know we were getting the trailer today, and like, I'm driving home from work, and I'm like, talking to myself about, all the things that I might get to see in the trailer, and I'm like, I really need to calm down. I'm like using 4-letter words that my mom would be very disappointed in me using.
And so would a certain captain.
Steve Rogers would be on my butt like language and patience. I'm like, yeah, sorry, Cap. At this point, all your stuff's just gone right out the window. Sorry. But yeah, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So now
it's not May yet.
I know. Now we only have to wait 6 months till the movie. At least now everyone can tell, can say, Rachel, shut up, you got the trailer.
Wait.
Now I'm going to be like, can I have another one? Please, sir, I want some more. Be like Oliver. Please, Mr. Feige, I want some more. Please, sir. No. I guess now I can count down to Black Panther. Bring on the Black Panther. Tied me over.
You get one of those first.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, so good. I'm so excited. Anyway. I need to expand my vocabulary so I can say something besides excited for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh.
I will say this. I was a little worried because I was just like, how are they going to find time for all of these characters and, make it feel balanced, which I guess we kind of felt that way before Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
So, where it's the same directors for Infinity War as Civil War, can manage it. And I think, and the trailer showed that, they're going to be able to make this work. So I'm just hoping I don't want to. How do I say this? I guess cautiously optimistic. I guess because it's I know it's Marvel, and I know what they're doing, and I know it's going to be fine. But just in my mind, it's like, how are they going to pull this off? Is kind of what I'm thinking.
You don't want actions so high that you walk out.
Yeah. And I think that's what this will sound weird, but I think that's when I saw the teaser for the trailer yesterday, and it was all these people with their reaction videos going crazy, and I was just like, this seems weird. I didn't like the teaser. I don't like teasers for trailers anyway. But the way they did it with all the, hey, we know you're going to do a reaction video for it. I'm like, yeah, but we don't want you to acknowledge that this is going to happen. Yeah. It's like, give us something, I don't think it was so much. The promo for the trailer seems silly, is all.
See, I don't see it that way. I see it more.
But the trailer looks great.
I don't see it as Marvel saying, yes, we know you're going to make a reaction video. It's more hey, the MCU has been going on it will be 10 years by the time this comes out. It'll have been 10 years since the first Iron Man movie came out. It's more of a 10 years of us working on these movies and the fans coming back for more and being loyal to the franchise and to the movies, and you're finally going to get the big payoff for 10 years worth of loyalty and patience. That's how I see it. I think it's more a love letter to the fans and the franchise saying,
well, if that was it, I don't know, maybe it just rubbed me the wrong way. The way they did it, it sort of felt, the comes to mind is exploitative, and I'm just talking to myself. The trailer's great. The trailer put any misgivings I had to rest. I just did not like the teaser for it. It just felt a little Marvel has achieved a lot with their movies. But it almost like right where we want you, where we know we've got your no matter what. I don't know. I mean, we can agree to disagree on that. I just kind of didn't like the teaser for it. That's all. But the trailer, when I finally got the trailer, I kind of was like, okay, I can forgive that.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that, because I don't agree. So I don't see it that way at all.
And we're mature enough to do that. Yeah. So high fives.
Yeah. Either way, our butts are all going to be there in May in the theater. So.
Yep. Oh, for sure. I this is in no way, oh, Marvel, how dare you? I'm not going to come see the movie. No, I'm going to be in the theater for sure.
You're getting my money.
I just had a tiny criticism that not everybody shares.
Yeah. Anyway, what did I say? I said we're going to spend 20 minutes talking about the trailer.
I kind of figured this was what was going to happen when I saw it. I was like, well, there's what we're going to be talking about in the news. Most of the news.
Yeah. Well, and as I alluded to, at the beginning of the episode when we first started, and we were talking about how the show was delayed. We were delayed in recording because we're coming off of the holiday weekend, and people were traveling and visiting family and then getting back to work and trying to get back in the swing of things and that sort of thing. So, a bunch of things got in the way, and all of a sudden, we can't record until Wednesday evening. And part of me was kind of like, oh, that kind of sucks that we have to wait so long to record. But then we got that teaser yesterday saying we're getting the trailer on Wednesday. I'm like, That works out really well.
Yes.
Like, this is one of those times where I'm glad our recording got delayed, because otherwise we would not be talking about this trailer for almost 2 weeks, because there's not going to be a podcast next week while I'm on vacation. So I would have been really mad if this trailer dropped after.
So, you know what? It was serendipity. Universe knew it that this needed to happen this week or today.
Yep.
Yep.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Alex is like, I'm not old enough to go to the movies yet. You'll get your turn, buddy.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, that's it
for sure.
Yeah. That's it for news. Before we move on to the topic for the week, I do just want to give a short recap of my one day at Starbase Indy over the holiday weekend. So, as I mentioned last week, Chauncey presented at Starbase Indy. So this is a first for both of us. Attending this particular con. His presentation went really well. We had a decent crowd for that. It's one of those things where he just really loves virtual reality, so it's a topic that he really enjoys talking about. This particular crowd, because it is a sci-fi convention, so I don't want to say he had to dumb it down for the audience, but he had to non-technophile, I guess, make it less technobabble and more put things into terminology for the layman crowd, I guess is the best way to put it.
He's not talking to experts. He's talking to people.
Yeah, he's not talking to academics. He's talking to people that watch Star Trek. Although I'm sure there are some academics that watch Star Trek, but they did seem to, the people that did come to his talk seem to enjoy it, so that's good. But the actual demo that we did Saturday evening was a big hit.
Good.
Big hit. We were supposed to officially present or have the demo open from 10 p.m. till 1 a.m. Which may sound weird to some people for conventions, like 1 a.m. What the heck? But this particular convention does a lot of nighttime programming. They have live music performances. They'll have Barfleet, if anyone knows what Barfleet is. They've got official room parties. They had a tea party and and a couple of other things. They had like a late night coloring session if people wanted to just kind of chill and do some coloring and that sort of thing. So there was that. So having the VR system set up was just another option for people that wanted to be night owls, but didn't necessarily want to go to a party and drink, or wanted to try something a little new. I went to I'd helped him set up, and he stayed in the room where we were presenting, and I actually went to part of the 5-year mission concert. They're a Star Trek rock band, and they do songs. They go through all of Star Trek, the original series, and they write a song for every single episode.
Oh, cool.
So I hadn't seen them in concert before, but so I went and caught some of that, and I told Chauncey, I'll be back in time for us to start. I'll be back before 10, I got back to the room slightly before 9:30, and he already had a line.
Oh, wow.
That almost went out the door.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
awesome.
Yeah, their bodies were ready.
Like, can you let us in a half hour early? Come on.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. So he started doing the they started doing the doing the demo, and we had a line for a good hour at least. It was a steady wow. stream of people. Nice. And then it kind of died off about 11:30ish, where I don't think we had anyone, and we almost were going to pack it in at midnight just because it seemed to really die off. And then right around midnight, we got another small rush of people, and had not nearly as many people, but it was still a steady enough stream of people that we kept going until 1.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. But, we had a good number of people. I think we ultimately probably had, I'd say we probably had 30 people actually do the demo. I think we probably had closer to probably 40 people actually come into the room, but not everyone wanted to do it. Some people just wanted to watch. A lot of adults. I did end up talking to Lisa, who was the chair for the con this year. She was one of the last people to go through it. She came rolling in a little before 1 a.m. She'd been at a party and finally was able to. It was one of her parties, so she finally was able to break free. And she wants us to come back next year.
Nice.
And possibly do 2 days, do like Saturday evening and then do Sunday. Because this year, one of the things that they did that was new was that they wanted to have a bit more focus on STEM type programming. So you still had your panels that you expect to see. If you looked at the program, you saw panels about cosplay. Mog Shell was there doing some of her demonstrations on how to work with Warbler and that sort of thing. There was a cosplay contest. I went and watched both of the panels. The Tony from Geeking in Indiana and Carl from Indie PopCon were on for Star Trek Discovery and then the Orville. And both of those had a really good turn, especially the one about the Orville. Talk about an enthusiastic crowd.
Cool. And what was the reaction from the one who wasn't so keen on Orville to begin with?
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't absolutely hate it. So
that's good.
But I mean, just in general, so you had panels like that, but then they wanted to have there were folks that were sharing the room with us that were actually doing their thing before we were supposed to officially start, where they had the Lego robot kits where you could build a small robot out of Legos. And they were teaching people how to do that and how to program. And then I know Sunday was like really STEM focused, like hands-on things, especially geared towards the kids. And they had special badge pricing where if any kid up to a certain age came, that their adult, their parent or guardian or whatever got in for free. But they were doing a lot of things. I know at one point there was a gal that was waiting in line for her turn, and while the person that was in the demo was in the demo, and we were talking to the other people that were waiting, and I think Chauncey asked, like, what is another cool thing that you've seen at this convention? Because again, this was the first time for either of us coming to it. And she's like, hands down, the coolest thing I've done so far this weekend, I extracted DNA from a banana.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. that they wanted to kind of have available for programming. But since, you know, our demo was really such a late night thing, which was fine because, again, it was an alternative for people that didn't necessarily want to be just, you know, partying and everything, but we didn't get as many children as I think they would have liked. So that is something that maybe we'll do like Saturday evening and then also do Sunday when it's more kid-focused programming. That way we can get some more children to come and be able to experience virtual reality and that sort of thing. I mean, the demonstration itself, really cool. Chauncey built it custom for Starbase Indy. I mean, it's one that, you know, once he tweaks it some more, it'll be one he keeps in his repertoire. But Starbase Indy was the first place that got to see it. It was a hot air balloon simulation. So you got to ride in a hot air balloon, and it took you through different environments. And then with his system, we had hooked up fans and a heat lamp. So with the hot air balloon's already inflated, but you have to add heat to it to lift off. So when you take the VR, the controller, and pull on the gas or whatever for the hot air, the heat lamp comes on, so you feel the heat. You're up in the air, you get the wind, and that sort of thing. So that a lot of people really, really love that and enjoyed it. And that's kind of the whole point of the pipe system, is it allows you to hook up things like a heat lamp or fans, and you can program those sorts of effects into your virtual reality environment. So, but it was exhausting. It was a lot of work, mostly for Chauncey. But I mean, I did help because, you know, people would come up and for their turn, and, you know, Chauncey would hand them the VR headset, and he'd be like, okay, you know, help you put this on, and I'd be like, okay, here's the controller, here's the headphones, so you can hear the sound effects and the music and that sort of thing. I kind of felt like a Disney cast member. It's like, okay, stand here, you know, emergency exits are here, you know, please keep your arms and legs inside the ride vehicle at all times. That sort of thing, so.
Almost like Genie, and the exits are here, and here.
Yeah, exactly. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So, you know, if they want us to come back next year, you know, I think I'd be more than happy to do that. And I know, you know, I talked to Lisa about I'd mentioned the podcast, and she remembered us from interviewing Melissa last year about Starbase Indy. So I gave her one of our business cards, and I may end up being involved in some other things outside of the virtual reality stuff on behalf of the Five-ish Fangirls. So, but it was late, and she was like, "I'll talk to you after I've recovered." I'm like, "Fair enough." She still had a whole other day to go. You know, we just did the one day, and it was pretty exhausting, just the one day. I think we finally rolled out of the hotel at 1:45 once we shut everything down and got it. That's conventions for you. So that's the convention.
But it was a very good tired.
Yeah.
When you got back.
It was a good tired. I slept really well once I got home. So. But yeah, I had fun. I mean, it's an interesting convention. Yeah, I've been to. That's the same hotel that hosts Midwest Toy Fest and Hoosier Con. So I've been to that hotel a good number of times, and you know, it's not a huge hotel. It's a decent size, but the convention felt small, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it almost felt too small, if that makes sense. And I don't know if that's just because frame of reference for that particular convention on how busy it should be. I know Lisa said they get about 900 people, which is on the small side. I mean, that's tiny. I mean, compared to something like Gen Con where they get 60,000, that's really small, but that's not comparing apples to apples, I think. Starbase, they keep their conventions small on purpose. I think they could easily make it bigger if they wanted to, but I think they just don't want to, just because it's so much easier to keep it small, and they've got a steady stream of people that come every year. So it's not like they're hurting for attendees. I know I did go into the dealer's hall for a little bit, and one of the artists I talked to, funnily enough, you go to conventions in the same general area often enough, you start seeing the same people. And there was one artist that I stopped, and I'm like, I think I bought something from you. And I was looking through his stuff, and sure enough, there was the print that copy of the print I'd bought from him at Hall of Heroes Comic-Con all the way back in March. of all things. But I know he said that Starbase it felt even smaller, like the attendance seemed a little down this year. Compared to previous years, but again, I'm taking their word for it because I have no frame of reference. But the people there that were there, they seem to be, enjoying themselves, which I guess is all that matters.
Who knows too? Because last year I think Thanksgiving fell later, so that could be a possibility too.
Yeah, that is a possibility. So. Yeah, it may have just been the timing on how early Thanksgiving was this year, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had fun. Got to see a good number of people that I hadn't seen in a while. Saw a few people that, I knew, but just didn't get a chance to really go up and say hi. So, yeah. It was fun. It was fun. So, I don't know if I'd necessarily want to, and this is purely for selfish reasons, I don't know if I'd necessarily want to commit to that particular convention in any sort of long-term capacity, which I don't think they'd ever ask us to, just because, things change. In the foreseeable future, I think, I don't see a problem, especially next year. I don't really see a problem us potentially doing something with them next year. But it's not that it's infringing on my Thanksgiving celebrations or anything. It's like I got to go to Thanksgiving dinner and spend time with family. That was not a problem. But I don't necessarily want to block out that weekend just because that's also the same weekend as Chicago TARDIS, and I'd like to be able to go back to Chicago TARDIS one of these days. So, but again, that's purely selfish reasons right there. So, especially considering I know people that were at Chicago TARDIS this year, and they look like they had lots of fun, including my girl Danny. So. But, yeah, Starbase Indy. It's a fun little con. Interesting, just a different vibe than what you'd expect from some comic sci-fi conventions. But, I guess if you don't want to spend your weekend, shopping at the mall, then it's something else to do. So, I give it a thumbs up. Good, solid thumbs up. So, yep. All right. With that, I guess we shall move on to this week's topic. So we're gonna stay in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because the last 2 weeks haven't been enough. we haven't had, with that trailer and everything, then let's discuss what I am lovingly calling the Netflix MCU. I guess is the best way to put it, because it's not necessarily the TV MCU, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on the TV, but Netflix MCU. So we've got Daredevil, which has got 2 seasons. Yep. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, and now The Punisher. So
right. And I just saw that Hulu has a Marvel spinoff called The Runaways.
Yes. Which I guess is still technically part of the MCU, but it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I caught a little bit of the first episode. Haven't got all the way through it. Not too bad. And James Marsters has a reoccurring semi-guest starring role.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but focus here.
It's on the to be watched and finished list along with some of the other.
Yeah.
Marvel MCU. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yay. More good stuff. Is like, to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the Netflix MCU, or the Defenders verse, I guess if you want to call it that too, whatever you want to call it. It's canon. I mean, it's fully part of the MCU. Or try to just skirt around that at all. They don't necessarily. It's a bit like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they don't name drop as much. They tend to, I don't say use code names, but they just, they imply who it is they're referring to.
They make vague references.
The events, it's not the Battle of New York or anything like that. It's the incident.
Incident with a big capital I.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's really, these are, they're Marvel, heroes or anti-heroes, and the Punisher's case, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yep.
And, in some cases, they are reluctant heroes. Jessica Jones really wants nothing to do with the superhero suits and, saving the day. She just wants to, make enough money to make rent and buy booze. And that's it. So, Luke Cage is trying to keep his head down. Really, it's Daredevil is really, I think, the most superhero-esque of the Defenders.
Let's try to help the helpless.
Mm-hmm.
Keep our offices up and running.
Yeah.
Be accessible avocados at law.
Yeah.
Or however that joke went.
Yeah.
And trying not to get killed and getting the secret let out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the Punisher is, he doesn't want to be a hero. He's just trying to get justice for his family more than anything.
Yep. And all of Daredevil season 2 before going into Punisher.
Yeah, because
that storyline kind of ties.
Yeah,
Daredevil 2 to Punisher.
Yeah, you may know Frank Castle's backstory as far as in the comics, but I know they divert from it a bit for the Netflix series. So if you want to know how exactly they've built up Frank's backstory here, then you need to watch Daredevil season 2. Now that I've watched them all, I finished The Punisher last week, and I do have to say, Jessica Jones is still my favorite. She's still my favorite. I love Jessica Jones. But they're all good. I mean, none of them are terrible. Again, it kind of is, we have this level of expectation with Marvel. And I know we talked about this when we talked Inhumans and how, it didn't quite reach that level of expectation. The Netflix series are better. I know there were a lot of complaints about Iron Fist. Again, Iron Fist was one of those things where they needed to have Iron Fist done before they could release the Defenders. And I think it just came down to a bit of bad planning on Marvel's part, as far as Iron Fist was concerned. The thing, though, with Iron Fist is, unlike the other Defenders, because Punisher's his own thing. Yeah, he's in Daredevil season 2. He's not one of the Defenders, though. And I almost think that maybe, and someone can correct me if I'm interpreting this, wrong, but I think that the Punisher series, I'm not sure exactly where it takes place in the timeline in relation to the Defenders, just because...
Right. And they were really good about not really putting in any time markings.
Yes. I mean, everything in the Defenders verse is post the Avengers, the 2012 movie, but beyond that, they never really give any sort of indication as to, whether Civil War has happened, Spider-Man, or, Doctor Strange, because anything that has taken place in New York, as far as the movies is concerned, beyond the incident, is not referenced. But then the Punisher series, there's not really any sort of reference to the events in the Defenders. So I almost wonder if this takes place before the Defenders or possibly at the same time as the Defenders, only because Karen Page is in it, and Karen doesn't give any sort of, we're going to get into spoiler territory here, so if anyone doesn't if anyone doesn't want spoilers on anything with the Marvel Netflix series, you may want to walk away, especially for the Defenders. But Karen does not give any sort, and quite a bit. She's tough. She's not Claire tough, but she's still tough. But she very much wears her heart on her sleeve. She does show her emotions really easily. But throughout the Punisher series, Karen does not give any sort of indication that aka Daredevil is presumably dead. And that's why I think this either takes place before the Defenders or at the same time. Because if Karen knew that Matt was supposedly dead or presumed dead, she would say something.
Yeah.
I don't think she'd be able to hide. She would be upset about that. Because she and Matt had a thing going there. And even without that romantic thing that they had going there for a second, they were friends.
Yeah. Well, then she would have been keeping Froggy.
Yeah, her and Foggy would have been keeping, keeping in touch. So, because even though she and Matt kind of had a falling out, I think she was still keeping in touch with Foggy, and I think Foggy would have said something to her. So she either has to be completely oblivious and people are just not telling her anything, which I doubt, considering she's a reporter. I think the fact that a building collapsed in the middle of Hell's Kitchen or close to it, I think she would be aware of. So,
yeah.
You know.
But then again, we don't know. Cover up, you know, small little article on page 6 of news.
Yeah, but even if they kept, you know, because I know Claire, was it Claire? I don't remember who it was. In the Defenders said something about, or it may have been Karen. I don't remember. Said something about they can't say anything about Daredevil being presumably dead, or they can't say anything about Matt being dead, because then it's kind of like, you know, Batman thing. If Batman disappeared, then Bruce Wayne would go missing at the same time, and people could put two and two together. So it's kind of the same thing where, you know, if the Devil of Hell's Kitchen and Matt Murdock go missing at the same time, people may put two and two together. Mm-hmm. And they didn't want that to potentially happen. So that's why I think Punisher probably takes place actually before the Defenders. Either that or Karen's moved on really quickly, which I severely doubt that, because like I said, she's quite an emotional person. But beyond that, they're good. I mean, Iron Fist was, the thing with Iron Fist is his origin story is so much more unique than the other Defenders, because the others, we get a little bit of backstory throughout their, you know, first seasons. We see how Matt lost his eyesight. We see how Jessica got her powers. We see how Luke Cage got his powers. But they've been living their lives the entire time, you know, up until they got their powers and then, or their abilities, and then continue to live their lives after that. Danny Rand, he goes missing and is presumed dead for quite a while, and then suddenly reappears in New York claiming to be Danny Rand. So they have to spend I think they may have spent too much time, but they had to spend at least a decent amount of time him trying to convince the people of who he is. None of the other Defenders have to do that. And I think that's why some people thought that Iron Fist was slow, and I think it's just because Danny's origin story is so much more unique, because it's not just, hey, I'm here, I've got these powers, I've got this fist that glows and, you know, can do awesome, amazing things. At the same time, he's trying to convince the people that knew him as a child that he's who he claims to be. So they have to spend a decent amount of time doing that. I think maybe if I don't think they could do it too quickly, because they needed to have that conflict there, because it creates a whole bunch of conflict on top of everything with the hand and everything. But at the same time, I think maybe they took maybe a bit too much time to convince the people that needed to be convinced. But anyway, so I could see why people complain, but I think the complaints were somewhat unfounded. As far as Iron Fist was concerned. Now, Defenders, on the other hand, holy crap. Once it all came together, it was the Avengers with attitude is what it was. Mm-hmm. The best way possible. You know, we were, you know, going into the Avengers and people are like, oh, you know, Captain America and Iron Man are finally going to meet, you know, personalities are going to clash. And they did. To a point, you know, that's going to be interesting. These personalities, the Defenders, didn't just clash. They were like gasoline on a fire, full of fire. It was concerned, like, you know, Matt is, you know, doesn't want anyone to know his identity. They don't want to know, he doesn't want people to know that he's Daredevil. Meanwhile, Danny Rand is going around going, I'm the immortal Iron Fist. Watch my fist glow. And Jessica.
What's with people with Iron and just because of Tony and Iron Man?
Yeah. Well, Danny inherited the title, so he doesn't have much to say about it. So, you know. Although I guess Tony Stark did too, at least as far as the movies are concerned, because it's the headline in the newspaper. He's like, technically it's not iron, it's a blah, blah, blah alloy with blah, you know, whatever, but still. But the Iron Fist title has been one that's been passed down for generations, you know, for centuries and that sort of thing. So he doesn't have much choice in the title he gets, but it is kind of funny just how many times Fist. Like, do you really have to say immortal with it? Can't you say I'm the Iron Fist? No, I'm the immortal Iron Fist. Which is funny. And then Jessica Jones is just like, screw y'all, I'm gonna go get drunk. Which is why I love her so much, just because she doesn't care. You know, you get you know, you get women in superhero movies and they either are the damsel in distress, or even if they're not necessarily the damsel in distress, you know, you have, you know, these women that have the sense of honor and, you know, moral code that they go by. You know, you get someone like Peggy Carter, who, you know, is a very strong moral center. You got Black Widow, who, yeah, she's got a past, but she's trying to move on and be a better person and do the right thing. And then you've got Jessica Jones, who you know, sleeps all day and stays up all night and drinks heavily and just doesn't give a flying flip about what you think. And it's just, she cracks me up and just, you know, just how carefree, you know, I think that's one of the things I like about her so much is just, she doesn't care what people think.
And considering after what she went through in the Jessica Jones first season, my gosh.
Yeah, considering the things that Kilgrave did to her.
Yes.
And she went through, then, yeah, I mean, a lot of it is not so much that she doesn't care what people think, she's built up some very strong walls around her emotions and her heart, and she does not want to let anyone in, not even her best friend. But you know, I kind of admire her for, you know, trying to move on after having such a traumatic experience. I mean, she takes it way overboard, to the extreme. You know, she self-medicates with alcohol, but she's just, she's such a unique character is what it is compared to some of the other quote unquote superheroes that we have in the MCU. You know, you've got Daredevil, who is, you know, he's not quite Batman, but it's kind of Batman-esque, where a lawyer by day and, you know, trying to help the underdog at night and try to clean up, you know, Hell's Kitchen. You've got Luke Cage, you know, who's trying to be a good man after being in jail and just wants to move on and, you know, do good things in Harlem. You know, you've got, you know, Danny Rand, who has been gone for so long, and the company that his father built up. You know, he's trying to I guess better the world as the head of this corporation because they work in things like pharmaceuticals. You know, trying to not be big pharma and, you know, price gouge things, but at the same time, you know, he's got this history with the hand and everything, which we learn about in Daredevil season 2 with Elektra and all that. And then you've got Jessica Jones, who just, you know, just doesn't care. So, and you know, casting wise, it's you know, the casting is great for all of them. You know, I think, you know, Charlie Cox is great as Matt Murdock / Daredevil. You know, I got to meet Charlie earlier this year, and he's He's an absolute sweetheart. You've got Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones, who is the exact opposite of Jessica Jones. You got Jessica Jones, who, she doesn't, she wears ratty jeans and, doesn't care really about how she looks, and she's an alcoholic. And then you've got, if you follow Kristen Ritter on Instagram, she loves getting dressed up for like events and getting all glam, and she has her dog who she loves, and she loves to knit. She even has her own line of like knitting patterns that you can buy.
And I believe she's also an author too.
Yes, she just had her first novel called Bonfire. It's like a crime mystery drama novel type book that just got released. So she's been on a book tour for that. So she's like, she's the exact opposite of Jessica Jones, which I think is hilarious. You've got Mike Colter as Luke Cage. Obviously, this is a very modern Luke Cage, although we do get, when we get the backstory of how he got, his powers, we do get a nice nod to the 70s Luke Cage look with the hair and the things on his wrist and the thing on his head. So they had to throw that in there at some point. And then you've got, which I don't know Mike Colter from really anything else. But I know my chiropractor loves Kristen Ritter. Apparently she's really hilarious in I guess she was in a TV comedy before landing the role of Jessica Jones. Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But apparently she was she's quite funny in that. I haven't watched it, but she's quite funny in that. I don't think I've seen Charlie Cox in anything else either. A funny enough story about Charlie Cox. He auditioned for the Han Solo movie, I think. He auditioned for something in Star Wars. And it was after he'd already gotten the role as Daredevil. And he ended up not getting the role in Star Wars because he could not maintain eye contact with anyone. Because he's trained himself to not make eye contact. He's supposed to be playing a blind man. He doesn't know where to make eye contact with people because he can't see their eyes. So he's trained himself to have this kind of, staring off into the distance type look that you would get from a blind person, because they just, they don't, they can't see, so they don't necessarily know where to look. I mean, they can kind of guess, if you're talking to someone based on, what they're hearing. But yeah, apparently he does Matt Murdock so well that it screwed up his audition for Star Wars.
Oops.
Yep.
Now, if some of you are wondering where you may have seen Foggy from,
yeah,
go back a few years, late 90s. He was in the Mighty Ducks movie.
Really?
I believe he played the goalie.
Really?
or the one who had... Yeah. He was the one who was so afraid because he could hit the puck real hard.
Okay.
I think that was him.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Well, and if you think you've seen the immortal Iron Fist elsewhere, you don't have to go back too far. He played Loras Tyrell on Game of Thrones. So.
Okay. I remember you, like.
I am terrible with
and
faces.
I was like, wait.
Yeah, I am terrible with remembering faces. So it wasn't until I was like looking to see what else he'd been in, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that is the same guy. So he was also in 2 episodes of the Sarah Jane Adventures as well. Played Santiago Jones. So.
Oh, I know where I recognize Charlie Cox from a movie called Stardust.
Yeah. And then you've got a lot of peripheral characters like Foggy. You've got Karen Page. You've got Claire Temple, played by Rosario Dawson, which she's fairly recognizable actress. She's been around for quite a while. Rosario Dawson has. She's been active for quite a while. So
well, and then our two villains from Jessica Jones, and then the first season of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, just a little. Vincent D'Onofrio.
David Tennant himself.
And then David Tennant is Kilgrave. So, which
David Tennant can play a very good bad guy.
Yes, I know, and even now, even after the fact, after it's been out for a while, there are some people that they can't watch Jessica Jones because they can't see David Tennant play a character like that, and it's like, you've got to, I'm sorry, but just because you love someone in a particular role, which you can, you can love someone for a particular role, over other roles that they've had, but you need to be able to separate the person from the role and appreciate their ability to act in other roles. And that, I think this just goes to show the amount of range that David Tennant has. That he can play someone like the 10th Doctor and then go and play someone like Kilgrave. That just goes to show how good of an actor he is. And I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure exactly how it's supposed to work as far as considering Kilgrave's supposed to be dead, but he is coming back for Jessica Jones season 2 at least a little bit. So
probably like
flashbacks. Kilgrave's got master-like tendencies.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. The fact that it's comic book based and no one's actually really dead.
There's that too.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. We had probably one of the biggest names besides David Tennant, Sigourney Weaver, as the big bad in the Defenders, as the leader of the Hand, which, when the Defenders first starts and we're first introduced to Alexandria, part of me was kind of like, okay, yeah, she's the head of the Hand, but she doesn't seem she doesn't seem necessarily like the big bad. But then we get some scenes later where she lays in on some people and kicks some major butt, and I'm like, okay. And then we find out she's like the one person Madame Gao is afraid of, and if Madame Gao is afraid of you, then you're probably not someone to be messed with, because Madame Gao was a pretty formative villain in her own right for essentially a little old lady. You know, she looks like she's about 112 and walks with a cane, but she can lay you down. And that's the thing with the Hand. I mean, going up to the Defenders, or at least from Daredevil season 2, they laid this groundwork of this organization called the Hand. Not to be confused with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Foot.
Yeah.
Different body part. But you know, we find out about this organization called the Hand, and things start getting a bit metaphysical, a bit magical, which after Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Strange, we can do that now. We can start talking things like magic, and the supernatural and that sort of thing. And the Hand has the ability to bring people back to life. They're not the same person they were, but they have this ability to bring people back to life. And they end up doing that with Elektra. And that is a big part of the Defenders, is them trying to keeping the Hand from I guess essentially tapping into the powers of Kunlun. I guess is the best way to put it. And they're able to tap into these resources, and then that gives them the regenerative or restorative powers for everything. It's like, you get Daredevil, and you've got Kingpin, and it's pretty straightforward. You know, you got this big bad crime lord, who, you got dealings in drugs and that sort of thing, and that's where Madame Gao gets introduced. You get Jessica Jones with Kilgrave's ability, which seems kind of magical, and let me find out it's pheromones. It's essentially, where his ability comes from is he's able to secrete these pheromones that allow him to, make people do his bidding. So you're starting to get into the kind of, more unique, way of doing things. Luke Cage, that's pretty straightforward, as well. It's really a redemption story for Luke Cage, and trying to clear his name and help clean up the streets of Harlem. But then Iron Fist is where you kind of really get the metaphysical with, him harnessing his chi and that sort of thing, and more of the Hand, and then of course the Defenders. And then Punisher is kind of his own thing. I mean, it still is part of that, because it's, he gets introduced in Daredevil season 2, but, the Punisher is, I don't want to knock it by any means, because it's really good. It's really well written. Jon Bernthal does an amazing job playing Frank Castle. He's a very, very, very complex character. He was a family man. He was a husband. He was a father. He was a member of the military, just trying to do his job and make good for his country and his family. And some very bad people did some very bad things, and it cost him his family, by really no fault of his own. He just got wrapped up in things that, the people in charge realized that they needed to, I guess, shut him up, but it was easier to kill his family instead of him or something. The reasoning behind the killing of his family is a bit convoluted, especially once you watch the Punisher series. It's revenge, yet not, kind of, sort of, not really. It's a bit weird. But, I mean, none of the series are kid-friendly by any means, I will tell you that. I mean, they're on a paid service for a reason. You know, compared to something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which now Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah, it's getting a little darker. It's getting a bit more violent because it's on at a later time now. But it's still nothing compared to the Netflix series. And The Punisher, really, of all of them, it's brutal. I've seen episodes of Game of Thrones that are less violent than The Punisher, and that's saying something. It is violent. It's not anything I can't tolerate. I will say, if you are someone who suffers from PTSD and could potentially get triggered by violence, you probably want to skip The Punisher. There's a lot, especially if you're someone who's military, that maybe suffers. And in fact, that's even a topic that gets covered in the series, is service members suffering from PTSD. And not just Frank, but other people as well, and how they're dealing with it, or in some cases not dealing with it. But just the imagery and the blood and the violence, it can be... there are a few times where I'm like, I needed to break it up. You know, unlike the Defenders, where I like binged it all in one day, I had to break The Punisher up, just because it is so violent. But I think, considering the subject matter compared to the rest of them, I think it's still appropriate for the character. Just because of Frank's backstory and what's happened to him and where this journey he has to go on in the Punisher series. Yeah, some people may disagree with me. I know some people thought that the Punisher was the best out of the Netflix series they've ever seen, and that's fine. I disagree. I still love Jessica Jones and the Defenders, but I could see it. I could potentially see it. So, but you know, even now, post watching Punisher, Metallica song in the advertising is still perfect. It is the song choice is perfect on a number of levels. I'll just tell you that. But yeah. I mean, without getting into like details about every single series, which at this point I don't really want to, because there's 7 of them. There's 7 seasons at this point to watch if you wanted to watch them all. So, you know, if you want to watch them all, great. Go watch them all. Tell me what you think after you're done. I will be more than happy to talk to you about the Defenders and all the other series as well, but you know, I don't want to spend a bunch of time talking about 7 seasons of TV, especially when they're so unique. It's the one thing to talk about one TV show, you know, like our 3-hour Once Upon a Time marathon, but but that's one show. You know, where you've got kind of a thread. I mean, even here, you still have a thread to a point. I mean, you get characters that overlap. Up through the Defenders, you get Claire Temple, who is kind of the thread that ties everything together. You know, you've got a little bit of crossover because we've got Karen and the Punisher, who we haven't seen in a while. Obviously, you've got Elektra that carries over from Daredevil Season 2. The Defenders, you've got Jerry Hogarth. the late, crosses over from Jessica Jones into Iron Fist. So, and I think that'll continue. I think next is Jessica Jones season 2. I think is what we're getting next. And then Daredevil season 3. Which, obviously with the way the Defenders ended, as far as they're concerned, Matt's dead. Us, the outside world know otherwise, that's not the case. And even before we got that last scene at the end, we kind of knew, considering we're getting Daredevil season 3, it's like, oh, he's not really he's not dead. Yeah. Eventually, we'll get another season of Luke Cage, and I think they confirmed that Danny Rand will be in the next season of Luke Cage. So, now that they've been brought together, it's not like they're just, going to completely separate and not see each other again. We're still going to get those characters a crossover. I know Misty Knight was going to be in one. I think she's going to be in Jessica Jones season 2, I think.
Now, with these announcements, the seasons, is this after the Disney announcement of them doing their own streaming?
No, because Jessica Jones had already been in production for season 2, and I know Daredevil season 3 had already been announced well before the streaming service was announced. So, don't
get me wrong. It was just I didn't know with
it's
with this new announcement how that would affect.
It could still change. That's the thing. Is we don't know until they tell us otherwise. I'm going to assume that the seasons that we know about and are already in production and or finishing production will go on Netflix, just because we don't have a time frame for the Disney streaming service. We just know it's coming, but we don't know when. So I would assume if these series finish production before the streaming service is up and running, they'll still go on Netflix. How long they'll stay there may be in question.
That's right.
But yeah, and that's one of those things that annoys me a bit about the Disney streaming service. I'd almost think with these series that it almost, I think, would be still appropriate for them to stay on Netflix just because of the content.
Right. Well, and especially the rating, because aren't they like TV mature or like TV 14 plus?
Yeah. I mean, they're violent. There's some sex. You don't see, parts, but you definitely see people doing it. And it's kind of gratuitous.
That's not something you want a 7 or 8 year old accidentally clicking on. And
and it's like, I almost think content wise, keeping them on Netflix would be more appropriate. Just so, you can have the Disney streaming app and, you can hand that to your kids and be fine. Unlike Netflix, where, I don't know what kind of parental controls are built into Netflix, if any. But I would think it would be slightly easier to keep your younger eyes and ears away from the Netflix Marvel series on Netflix than it would be on the Disney streaming service. But I could be wrong.
Or unless if they do work out a deal, it should be like a password protected.
Yeah.
On the Disney to be able to have access to the Netflix Marvel if they decide to do that.
Yeah. Well, and it's just,
that would just be me.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, Netflix is pouring a lot of money into these Netflix original series. Anything that pops up, you go on Netflix, anytime you play something and it goes, da-da, you get that Netflix almost like Law and Order, da-da. and the Netflix logo pops up. I mean, Netflix is putting a lot of money into anything that's got the Netflix logo on it, and if they want to keep paying for it, if I was Disney, I'd be like, sure, go ahead. We'll let you have the characters. And you want to keep bankrolling this and, you know, storing it on your servers? Sure, why not? You know, and let everything else go to the Disney streaming service. You know, let all the movies, Star Wars, even the MCU, the films can go to that streaming service. But I think with this particular set of characters and these storylines and this content that I really think they need to stay on Netflix. But that's just my opinion.
And I mean, Netflix's own created series, I mean, they've had a good track record because they haven't really canceled too many of their own series, maybe 3 or 4, and then others are just like, okay, yeah, we've had a good run, let's end it here. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where we're just going to have to wait and see what they decide. I mean, there's a lot of things that we just don't know. We don't know the timing as far as when this service is going to be up and running. And, you know, we don't know what the contracts are, you know, say as far as, you know, how long, you know, what, you know, how long are they tied to each other? You know, is it, you know, how long does Netflix, are they allowed to make things with these particular characters? You know, the rights and that sort of thing, or the contracts for the actors and the actresses, how long are they tied to it? So, you know, there's just a lot of things that we don't know.
Yeah, a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not giving up Netflix. And, you know, because I still want to be able to watch the things that are on Netflix that aren't owned by Disney. And, you know, even the stuff that's not Netflix series that's just on Netflix. But even, you know, even the Netflix exclusive stuff, you know, things like Stranger Things and The Crown, you know, we'll keep paying for that. And pay, you know, as long as the Disney service is reasonably priced, we'll just have both. So, you know, I'll watch them wherever I can get them, I guess. But it's not going to make me drop one over, you know, for the other. So, anyway, anything else? I feel like I've been. Are we marveled out? Nah. Never.
I don't think that's possible. At least for me.
Yeah. Never. But
they keep making it. We'll keep watching it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. You know, keep making this stuff. We'll keep watching it. Shut up and take my money. So. All right. Well, dear listeners, unfortunately, Chrissy had to bow out. Her internet decided to go crapola on her, so I will be finishing up the show, but that's okay. If any of you, dear listeners, want to chime in on the Netflix Marvel series or anything else we talked about in the news, that sort of thing, you can always send us feedback. The easiest way to do that is to go to our website, which is the 5ishfangirls.com. From there, you can send us an email, excuse me, or follow one of the links to our social medias like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. You can always send us a message that way. Also on our website is the link to the Goodreads Book Club. As we're recording this, you've got about a day left to vote for December. Although by the time you hear this, you'll have less than a day to vote, but that's okay. And if it's already December, too late. You waited too long. But stay tuned. You can always vote for the first book of 2018, as scary as it is to say that out loud. Vote for the first book of the new year. Oh my God, where did the year go? Anyway, so there's that. So there's that. And then also there is...
Rachel, pretty soon we'll be planning our year in review episode.
Yeah, I know. I really need to start working on the show notes for that, because it's gonna a year's worth of news and stuff to recap. Oh my God. That's on my list after I go on vacation. After I come back from vacation.
Good.
Also, you'll find links to our Patreon. So if you would like to support us financially, you can do that via Patreon. We really appreciate anyone who has decided to give us their hard-earned dollars. That certainly helps us a bit. I just renewed our domain for another year, so our URL, our website URL, is good for another year. So, and things like supporting us on Patreon helps pay for that, which is good. Not that it's super expensive, but still, hey, money that doesn't have to come out anymore.
Left over, we will be contributing to some charities.
Yes, and you can. So if you support us on Patreon, you also are doing that. Also, along with using our affiliate link for Amazon. So as you're doing your holiday shopping, whether you're buying presents or batteries or rolls of wrapping paper or whatever, if you shop on Amazon, if you just click the link on our website, it'll take you to Amazon, and from there you can make your purchases. It doesn't cost you a penny more. It's just, Amazon's like, hey, we'll throw you a few cents because someone decided to buy a sweatshirt for their great uncle. Great! Thank you! We really appreciate that. And then the support from both the money we get from Amazon and from Patreon, once we pay for things like our domain registry and things like that, does go into the Fangirls Give Back initiative, where we will be donating a portion of what we make to some very deserving charities. I think I mentioned on a show previously, I think we're gonna let that keep going until probably our next birthday, just to give it a good year-ish, I guess, to work. Just once I get back into the convention season and start doing things and help spread the word. So, but and then we'll have to pick some new charities, or decide if we want to pick some new ones or stick with the same ones. We'll decide that then. We have until June, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you support us financially, you're not just helping us out, but you're also helping us raise money for charity, which is always a good thing. So. Yep. So, and even if you just want to say hi, just send us a tweet or comment on Facebook or whatever. So, and then we'll be back in a couple of weeks. There will not be a new show next week, which is kind of another good thing that the show was delayed this week, because then it kind of helps bridge the gap, because there's not going to be a new show next week, because I will be on vacation. I will be at Walt Disney World having fun, eating my way around 4 parks. Thank you very much. I'm so excited. So yeah, there will not be a new show next week, and I don't know. I'll have to look and see what we have left as far as archive shows that have not been put up in iTunes yet, and see if there's anything appropriate or relevant-ish that could go up. So there may be an archive show in place of next week, maybe not. I may just leave it, and that'll give us a bit more buffer space because December is still going to be kind of big as far as content is concerned. Because we've got The Librarians that comes back in December. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually comes back this Friday, so that's what we'll be talking. If you're not sick of Marvel yet, we'll be back in 2... We'll get off the Marvel train eventually, I promise.
Then we got that little Star Wars movie.
Yeah, so we've got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we've got The Librarians coming back, we've got that little Star Wars movie, and then the Doctor Who Christmas special.
Doctor Who, and then probably the Once Upon a Time
mid-season finale.
Winter finale.
Probably in there somewhere, more than likely. So, yeah, December is going to be kind of full, and our schedule may, just with the Christmas holidays and the fact that Christmas and New Year's fall on a Monday, I would be prepared.
Things might be a little delayed.
Yeah, you expect some delays. So, yeah, because we need to talk Doctor Who Christmas special, but it doesn't air until Monday evening, which is when we record anyway, so. And we may not all get to see Star Wars right away, so. We're just going to have to kind of play it by ear as far as, and, people traveling to go visit family for the holidays and that sort of thing, so people may just get pleasantly surprised when they refresh their iTunes and Google app for podcasts and like, oh, new show on the Five-ish Fan Club.
Yay!
We're gonna be like, we're gonna Christmas surprises everywhere. So. We will have content for you. It's just the schedule may just be a bit wonky with the holidays and everything. So the calendar's just not working.
No lumps of coal.
Yeah, we could at least promise that. So, all right. Well, with that, I guess we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany in Bethlehem saying goodnight.
This is Colter from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. How is this the last show for November? How is this happening? Where did the year go? How do we only have 1 month of shows left?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.